No clickbait titles or hooks needed today. If you want to know how to pre-grade your LIFE TCG cards, stay tuned. Today we're going to cover why you need to grade them, the tools needed, and then we'll go through a live demonstration of how I personally grade. I'll show you examples from cards I'm actually going to be submitting or not submitting, depending on the pre-grading process. I'm Travis from Taclaco TCG, and let's get into it. Okay, first, why pre-grade? I'm gonna make this really simple. Do you have a business or are you an investor? If you have a business, you're grading to increase value and sell for a profit. If you're a collector, you're grading to preserve the cards. That's it. Keep it simple. Either grade for profit or grade to preserve. Okay, so now that you've decided you want to grade cards, what tools do you need? Okay, first, good lighting is crucial to help see imperfections in the cards. I personally have a desk lamp that I use. I get really close into the card so you can see reflections and imperfections in the surface. I don't use this as much, but a magnifying glass. That's to see the small, tiny things if you're really getting nitpicky. Generally speaking though, I don't use it unless something I think is on the edge of a 9 or 10 and I want to get a real closer look. Next would be a microfiber cloth to clean off all the dust. Grading companies generally do not clean your cards, so you want to make sure you submit them as clean as possible. Next, you want to make sure you have clean penny sleeves. You want to put them in a clean penny sleeve. And then lastly, a semi-rigid. All grading companies require you to put the cards into a semi-rigid for submission. And I think that's it. If you want to start grading, I think the easiest way is to just do it. Then you'll find out exactly what you need. If you need more magnifying glass, you can get a bigger magnifying glass. If you need better lighting, get better lighting. But I think just start. You pre-grade a few and then you'll figure out what works best for you. Okay, so before we get into an actual demonstration of a pre-grading process, I think it's important to understand what graders look at. So go to whatever grading company that you want to submit to, look at the website, read their grading criteria, and become familiar with what each company grades by so you know when you're pre-grading what to look for. For example, there used to be a difference in centering. PSA used to be a 60-40, whereas other companies were 45-55. Now everybody's generally 45-55. The industry is standardizing, but there still are differences. So make sure you're looking at the individual rubrics of each company. Card grading can be broken down into 4 separate areas. You have your centering of the card, edge wear, corner wear, and surface. A grader will look at all 4 sections and determine a grade for each individual area, and then combine those grades into one final grade for the card. So for the example we're going through in a minute, we will go through exactly what a grader goes through. First we'll go through the card centering, then we'll look at the surface, corners, and then edges. And like I mentioned, we'll be using cards that either I plan to submit or I'm not going to submit based on our pre-grading routine right now. All right. So now we have a giant otter here, and let's go through our pre-grading routine. First, let's look at centering. So you can leave it in the sleeve to look at centering. As you can see here, you want to look at your top bottom centering and then your left right centering. On life cards, the borders are black, so it's fairly easy to see centering. As you can see with this one, we have a definite left-right centering issue. The left is heavier than the right. So I would automatically disqualify this from getting a 10. Oh, and that's why we look at centering first, because if the card is not centered, then it is not going to get a 10, regardless of the edges, corners, and surface. So remember, look at centering first and go from there. So since this card is not centered, let's move on to another card that may be a little bit better centered. Here we have a Canadian Lynx, and the centering actually looks pretty good on this one. I don't think it's a 50-50, but it's pretty close, both left, right, and top, bottom. Next, let's look at surface of the cards. And to do that, the easiest way is probably to slip it out of almost all the way, so you don't have to touch the card itself. And as you can see, I'm still grabbing onto the sleeve down here. And then you want to put it in the light to where you can check for print lines. As you can see here, there's no print lines here. And you want to check for any scratches, dings, pieces of hair like that, or any other imperfections on the surface of the card. Now the front of the card looks pretty good, so we'll turn it around, check the back. Oh, I think you can see that up top. There's some bit of something. There looks like some minor scratching up there. Now, I think that would probably pass the test, right? That's one imperfection. You can still probably get a 10, but I'm personally a bit of a tougher pre-grade. And if you need to take it out of the sleeve, because I think I see something at the bottom right here. Oh, never mind. You can touch the side of the cards like that. So, as you can see, there was a bit of, I'd consider that surface wear because that's not on the actual corner. Bringing it back around. So I think you could still get a 10. Actually, let me take it all the way out. So now when we look at corners and edge wear, from an edge wear, I spotted something. Oh, there you can see it right down there. Let me see if I can get it in closer. Yep, right there. You can see the little nick and dent right there. That is number 2. Oh, and I just spotted another surface item that we didn't catch earlier. That little hole right there. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3 imperfections, that's automatically not going to be a 10. And generally with PSA and CGC, they allow up to 2 minor imperfections like that on a 10. I personally don't chance it. I only like maybe 1 at most. But I'm a little heavier on the pre-grade, or tougher on the pre-grade rather. So that's an example, as you can see as an example right there, right? We have a surface imperfection there and then an edge imperfection there. Based on those, I would not send this, but let's continue to review it for a purpose of an example. And then I think on the back, we're looking at the edges. I think our edges look pretty good. Yeah. And then lastly, assuming this would pass, we would have, we'd look at the corners. And generally speaking, what I've seen from Life TCG is your corners don't have whitening on the edges. If you're familiar with Pokemon cards, right, a lot of the times, or almost every single card, right, unless it's a Gem Mint 10, will have whiting issues on each corners. They'll have a nick or a touch of white. On the Life TCG cards, the quality is pretty good, so I don't really see too much whitening, however you want to call it. And I did want to pull this one out because another common issue, why is there so much hair? Another common issue I do see on these hollows is that minor scratching here. So right there, as you can see it, let's see if I can bring it closer. Right, that is not dust or dirt. That's some hollow scratching. It's just like, it doesn't really, see, it doesn't nick the hollow foil, but it's still visible. Now, if I was to just look at that, if this was in a Gem Mint 10 case and I saw that scratch there on the hollow foil, I would be mad, personally. So that's why I don't think you would get a 10. I don't really want to chance it, especially for such a high pop card. All right, if it was a lower pop, you may want to chance it, but on these, I just don't think it's really worth it just yet. And then lastly, on the corners, one thing I forgot to mention is you want to make sure each corner is rounded properly. I haven't seen many issues with, I forgot to mention it because I haven't seen issues with these cards as it relates to the corner rounding. All corners that I've seen are uniform and rounded. So now let's take through an actual pre-grading. I have not looked at this one yet, so I don't know what it looks like. Let's see here, put that aside. Centering, I think we're a touch heavy on the right, actually. If you look at that, yep, touch heavy on the right, pass. Okay, let's pull out the Wild Yak here. Centering, looks top heavy. You might be able to get away with it. Oh, and you can see the print line right there. Hey, what do you know? Right there. 1, 2, not worth it. Not going to chance it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that pre-grading process. Those are the steps that I take when I'm looking at Life TCG. If you do have any other questions or comments, please leave them down below. I read every single one and I will reply with my thoughts and opinions on pre-grading. If you're curious about what I'm going to be doing with some of the cards that I have, I will be submitting them for grading. And when I receive the submission back, I'll create a video showing my return. It'll be fun going through everything, seeing what grades we can get. Hopefully all 10s. That is the reason we pre-grade, remember? I hope you enjoyed that video and found it very informative. If you do have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll take a look and answer them as soon as I can. If you're interested in where I got some of the cards we looked at today, check out my starter box opening video here. Okay, so now